Morning. It's 5:38 in the morning. Philip and Nathan and I have just climbed up what is the traditional site of Mount Sinai. I'm sitting on the top. We're looking out over the landscape, the mountains, the area down below. I'll pan on down. You can see the way there's a path. We walked up it. Took us 2.5 hours to come on up. And we came at a pretty leisurely pace. This is the valley area opening in front of the traditional site of Mount Sinai. And you can see the mountains as they come on over. And there's a group of people up here with us, up on the top. And there's a chapel right behind. A group of people, you can see the roof of the chapel behind them. They stayed the night. Up toward the chapel, I see there's another building up on yonder hill. I suppose, like most places, it's disputed where the exact identity is. But this is the chapel that the monks built up on top of what they feel was Mount Sinai. Good mountains. Gives you an idea of the ruggedness of this landscape. The Sinai Peninsula, just lots of this kind of mountain ridges with valleys. Nathan. Hey Phil, Nate, look this way so we can give me a wave. Looking out down over the valley. Sun is beginning to rise out there. Maybe you can see some of the pinks coming up. My friend who came the whole way up the mountain with us, kept us company. We enjoyed having him. He met us at the very bottom of it, where by the Crusaders, not Crusaders, but by St. Catherine's Monastery, and he came all the way up with us. This morning we're standing on the top of Mount Sinai, at least the traditional site, which goes back to 300 AD, 200 AD, of supposedly where Moses received the Ten Commandments. It's a real joy to be up here. I'm going to read Psalm 90, which is Moses' psalm. And Moses wrote, "Lord, Thou hast been our dwelling place in all generations. Before the mountains were brought forth, or ever Thou hadst formed the earth and the world, even from everlasting to everlasting, Thou art God. Thou turnest man to destruction, and sayest, Return, ye children of men. For 1,000 years in Thy sight are as but yesterday when it's past, and as a watch in the night. Thou carriest them away as with a flood, they are as asleep. In the morning they are like the grass which groweth up. In the morning it flourisheth and groweth up, in the evening it is cut down and withereth. For we are consumed by Thine anger, and by Thy wrath are we troubled. Thou hast set our iniquities before Thee, our secret sins in the light of Thy countenance. The days of our years are 70, and if by reason of strength they be 80 years, yet is their strength labor and sorrow, for it is soon cut off and we fly away. Who knoweth the power of Thine anger? Even according to Thy fear, so is Thy wrath. So teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. O satisfy us early with Thy mercy, that we may rejoice and be glad all our days. Make us glad according to the days wherein Thou hast afflicted us, and the years wherein we have seen evil. Let Thy work appear, unto thy servants, and thy glory unto their children. And let the beauty of the Lord our God be upon us, and establish thou the work of our hands upon us. Yea, the work of our hands, establish thou it. And the sun rise is coming, the sun is coming up. The sun comes up over the mountains in the distance, and we're here in the Horeb range, the Sinai range. It's not just one mountain. Mount Sinai is just not one mountain, it's a range of mountains, and certainly within eyesight was the original place. If we're not on it, we're right near it. And back in 1446, when Moses led the children of Israel out of Israel, he brought them here within 6 months. The tabernacle was built down in the valley, and they stayed for a year at Sinai, and then they left and went on to Kadesh Barnea, and it was only 11 days journey from Kadesh Barnea to the Promised Land when they chose to disobey God and doubt Him. And so they spent another 39 years, 40 years in all, wandering in the wilderness, where the generation 20 years old and up died. They did not enter into God's rest because of their unbelief. And as you pan over to the left here now, Phil, you can see the ruggedness of these mountains, the starkness, the beauty, the gorgeous creation of God's handiwork. Okay. What do you think, Phil, this morning? 7:07 in the morning. And we're halfway down. We're looking back up on to the area we were at, and you can see that monastery, that little building up to the left up there. That's where we were. Traditional site of Mount Sinai. And then we're coming down. We've been down. You can see people walking along there. Beautiful blue sky right behind Mount Sinai. Absolutely lovely. Hey Nate, what do you think, buddy?
I think it's neat.
Your knees still shaking?
No.
We're taking a little look-see here. It's to the west. And if I sweep on down in panoramic view, this is the valley area. The sun is coming up into the east, and I'm slowly panning around toward the east. This is the valley. And there are some more paths down there that we're going to be walking on. Don't go, Nate, I got to put my camera away. And this is the camel path we're walking down. And Nate just went down to get a drink of water from Phil. We've had a good time this morning. The sunset was really lovely.